The best month of the year is here. Welcome to March. It's my birth month, whoop, whoop, but it's also Women's Month. And on that channel, I'm going to bring some amazing ladies for you to get to know them better. They're doing amazing things in the community, in the economy, and I can't wait for you to meet them. We are getting to know the women behind the success. So keep watching. This episode has been shot from Serene Beauty. Serene Beauty is a team of creative hair and makeup stylists ready to make your wedding day beautiful. Apart from ensuring that they enhance your beauty, they have bridal space in 5 apartments to accommodate their bridal teams so that the day is stress-free. Stay here with your bridesmaids, take pictures, have breakfast, and start the day right. You can check out their Instagram page and book your appointment today, or use the number on the screen and get ready to celebrate love just right with Serene Beauty. Guys, I'm excited to get to know her better. Brenda, welcome to the channel.
Thank you,
Yes.
Lisa.
Thank you for, accepting my invite and coming. When I have big people here, I'm like, wow.
It's always an honor and privilege to speak to people out there.
Yeah. Amazing. Are you a book person or a movie person?
I'm a movie person. Yes.
What are some of your faves? Yeah.
Interestingly, it's more of series.
Yeah.
I would watch Grey's Anatomy anytime.
Any day.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, though, okay, if it's movies, they've got to be real. I won't enjoy science fiction. I really want a story, a believable story.
Yeah. So you're a fan of those real life. This thing
Yes.
happened, what?
Yes. As long as they're not very sad, because I tend to become very emotional. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. I know you're into baking, but cakes or cookies?
Cookies, interestingly, I eat more cookie than cake.
Yes. Any reason why?
Because we make a lot of cake. We do bake cookies as well, but I mean, it's more often that I taste cake.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, I would choose cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, amazing. So Brenda, would love to get to know you better, who you are, what you do, and what's your journey been like. So take us back and then bring us up to where you are now.
Well, yes, I'm Brenda Sekabembe. I'm married to Robert Mulema. Together we have 3 children, 1 girl and 2 boys. What do? I love to do business. At the moment, I'm doing a couple of businesses, but the major one is my bakery, Bake For Me Limited, and the baking school. We also train everyone and anyone who wants to learn how to bake right from scratch. Yeah. And actually, the baking school has given me a very pleasant surprise for the past probably 1 year, 2024, because we've been able to motivate people through that. Come, try this out, it can work for you. And it's attracting attention I never expected. So it just goes to show us that it's good to share. Yeah, because, there's blessing in that. Even the Bible says that, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So I'm really enjoying the training of late, the motivation speaking on the social media platforms. Other than that, how did Bake For Me start? Well, 20 years ago, it was a purely accidental start. You don't really sit down to plan that I'm going to start a business, but on selling cake number 1, number 2, you realize, okay, I'm collecting money. Maybe I should get serious.
But how did you start to bake that 1 and 2?
That 1 and 2. Oh, you want the nitty-gritties.
Hey, how did that come?
So basically, when we were growing up, my mom used to bake at home, but it was more of, it's someone's birthday, let's bake the cake together. So would help her. It was 5 of us. We used to use our hands. She would give us a bowl, and then we cream the butter and the sugar, then you move the bowl to someone else, and then, and then before you know it, you're done mixing the cake. She pours it into the pan, we lick the bowl. So really it was these very lovely childhood memories that were created for us. And little did I know that much later in life, I would use the skill, to start a business that has grown to shock me as well, actually. So fast forward, from my childhood, I go to school. I went to Gaza High School. Yes, I did food science and technology at Makerere University. At Gaza, we did food and nutrition, home management, and you know that, you're learning a bit of baking. So when I was done, I was job searching, and I happened to visit a relative who was working on Kampala Road, one of the towers. So I went there to have lunch, and he casually pulled out 10,000 from his wallet and told me, I need you to make me a cake, because he knew we had learned how to bake earlier in life. I need you to make me a cake because my girlfriend asked me for a cake. So I didn't question whether the 10,000 was enough. I simply took it. Remember, I was jobless. So I took it home. I must have used sugar and a few other ingredients from my mother's kitchen, and I bought what I could with the 10,000. Baked the cake, brought it the following day. It was a vanilla cake, 12 inches diameter, quite big for 10,000 shillings. Even then, really, it was quite big. I didn't know, I didn't have any financial literacy up my sleeve, so I gave him the cake at 10,000 shillings. I think I made a loss of 50% of what I... But it didn't really matter. I did what I was asked to do. And his workmates, two of his workmates asked me for cake as well. So that's 2 new orders. No deposit this time round. I borrowed 25,000 shillings from my father, and the Bake For Me journey began. Yeah, to date, we are a team of over 82 members. Yes.
Wow.
And we bake cakes for all occasions. The most interesting one of late is we've baked cakes for funerals.
People will cut cake for funerals.
Yes, they do, especially if there is a lady who had it in her will that she wants people at her vigil to be served tea and cake, and we bake lots of cake. Then there's someone who died just before their birthday. We baked cake and people decided to celebrate them. So basically, whatever occasion comes around, weddings, baptisms, introductions, people actually celebrate divorce. Yeah, some people celebrate divorce, free at last. It's weird. I don't even really enjoy advertising those, but we do them. So this is where we are now. Bake For Me gave rise to the training, the Bake For Me school, where we train. I already mentioned, we train whoever wants to learn how to bake. And in fact, that part is very fulfilling for me, because I believe every business owner should get to a point where you can give back. You can impact other people, so it's a lovely feeling. Yes.
That's amazing. And you talk about having children.
Yes.
And Mr. is there as well. There's this whole family thing. I'm a businesswoman.
Yes.
And when you start business, I personally left my job, to get more time
for your family.
Yes. But then as you start a business,
you get busier.
You're like, it's worse than
you get busier. Yes.
Yeah. So how have you done it, and how has your journey been like when it comes to kind of, there's no balance, but kind of managing the two?
I like that, the fact that you've mentioned that there's never a life business, a work-life balance. Yes. There's never a work-life balance. However, in this self-employment, at least you have that one special thing that an unemployed person can't have. Freedom.
Yes.
You have freedom. You have a chance to choose. I'll do this today. I won't do the other. So for me, that is really a plus. But true, you get busier because if you don't work, you won't eat. It's not like you're going to sit back, wait for a salary. Things things become very demanding. So like I said, I have 82 people to
Depending
think about. Yes. So there is really I can't be reckless, because there's a whole lot of people, families actually, behind all these 82 people. So it's a little bit more challenging, but fun. Yeah, it's fun and striving to make sure you survive every month and whoever is behind you survives as well. So how have I managed? I'll be honest, I was very lucky that I got married when I was already in business. Now the ball game is different when you get married and then you start a business, when you have a family, especially a young children, and then the struggle is real, how much energy and time you have to put into lifting that business off the ground, the sacrifice. So like I said, I was a little lucky that I got married while the business was already, it was out of the woods, in fact. It was doing well enough. So I must say it was also easy for my husband to accept things the way they were. Because some ladies face that problem. I mean, when you're building a business, you're on the treadmill, literally. That's the definition. You're on the treadmill non-stop. You're doing everything. You're the HR, you're the owner, you're marketing, you're delivering, you're fixing everything. So there's a lot of sacrifice. And one of the major things that you have to sacrifice is time. So in my earlier days of marriage, honestly, I would go to bed at midnight and get up by 6, and it's cakes, and I was living at the bakery. Or let's say my home
was the bakery.
No, the bakery was sharing our home with us. So that gave us the one critical goal of that year was for us to work our way out of that place. Build very fast, move out so that you let the bakery be. So I mean it was maybe now that things are a little easier, I'm even struggling to try and remember, but I think it was a tough time. I didn't really get, like I said, because my husband met me when I was already doing this. So I mean, if someone is choosing to spend their life, the rest of their life with you, they've seen. It's not the same as in the middle and then you decide to do this. So I think it made it a little easier. However, it's also good in a way. It was good in a way that I had all my children while I was present. I could be present in their lives. And to me, even when I teach, when I'm teaching the baking students, bakery, the bakery school, I'm like, to me, choosing this vocation is an advantage because you can comfortably do it at home. So you start so your beginning years are one cheaper because every business struggles with rent. So when you can do it at home, you're not spending extra to rent a place. So to me that was easier. I was present. I was aware of what was going on with my children. And as mothers, you have the chance to breastfeed. You can know when your child is unwell and immediately, you don't need to ask for permission from work to go and sort XYZ immunization, So I think it was a blessing. For me, I take it as a blessing that it happened the way it did. So meaning that even with the tough scenarios of you're working longer hours, You work on Sundays, actually working Monday
All
to
day.
Monday.
Yeah.
When someone needs a cake, you just walk out of your house and you're in the
Until the oven is
kitchen.
there.
And so eventually you need to make an informed decision of when should this stop.
Boundaries.
Yes. But that time, the right time always shows up. Well, mine did. The time showed up and I'm like, okay, starting now, no more Sundays. And of course, that also comes with building the structures, the systems in your business, being able to build a workforce that's big enough to have people who can take days off on Monday and work on Sunday. So that you don't lose out on those few customers who want to show up on Sunday, So there's quite a lot, several balls to juggle, but all is well that ends well.
So Brenda, you talked about the children. You have children, and now you said it even at home. Have you involved them in your business, and how is that like? Do they like it? Do they hate it? Sometimes when your person is doing that business and it's always consuming, sometimes the children are like, but this business also, we are seeing it every day. How is that dynamic for you?
If I were to be honest, I'm being patient with them. Yeah, my eldest, my daughter, is 13. I've asked her to work at the bakery before, not once, not twice. Sometimes you ask and she doesn't show up. And then you come home, I'm like, what happened? Oh, and then she'll have a lame excuse, I was doing XYZ. Then you're like, oh, by the way, for every cake you're going to earn so much. And she shows up and makes 100. So, of course, like I said, I'm patient. Ideally, that might annoy someone. You're like, did she have to do it only because I offered money? But also when I listen to people who've been successful in creating generational businesses, like their businesses move through generation. It's been said that it's good for you to reward, your children. Don't think that you'll expect them to work for free. I mean, they're human like any other person. So it's work in progress. And like I said, I'm patient. I want it to come from them, not me forcing it down their throats. Yes. But one of them is just that he's 9 now. In fact, for him, it shows me that he's really interested. So we'll see.
You'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. But like I said, I don't want to force it on any of them. I let them be children. I mean, if a child wants to take a break, it's holiday time, they want to watch TV and do other things at home. They'll do, they'll do the dishes and everything. I'm like, no, let let them rest. I don't have to suck them into the business. But they will. They will. I have it on my to-do list. At the right time. But the elder one, yes, she has worked before. And the truth is that she gets extremely motivated by the money. Yes,
the money is there.
Yeah, so.
Okay. And then your husband.
Yes.
Many women go through that struggle where you're making it in your career or your business. And then for some men, they're either threatened by it or they are not supportive. How has been your journey and how is your husband supporting you to thrive in this business?
Again, I would say I count myself lucky because it can swing either north or south. So for my case, it is up north. My husband is a very, very supporting man, really. He's very supportive. So much that he got to understand my love language, like 200%. For me, you bring all sorts of gifts, the best car, the best phone, and I will not be moved an inch. I might be moved on that day, oh, thank you,
but
and a hug, but after that, no. Acts of service, that's it for me. So he understood it. He understood it to the core. So he'll know when to offer help, even when I haven't asked. I know the help might be as simple as, I'm going to the bank, because we use the same banks generally, because also he also does his businesses. But he was like, I'm going to the bank, I'll help you. And in fact, right now, he does most of my banking.
Yeah.
And of course, people who run businesses know that one of the worst nightmares of any business is losing money through theft. You know, you've collected it, you give it to someone, and they disappear with it. So when you have someone, your rock, he's right there anytime, he's ready. Whatever amount it is, it will hit the bank, and you know. So he's extremely supportive. And then there's also the need to have that earlier on in the business. I mean, you need, I don't want to call it a shoulder to cry on per se, but when you have problems, you need to blurt them out. You know, a problem shared
is
at
at least half
least
solved.
solved. Yes. So it's very, very comforting when your partner can listen through your ranting, because sometimes the ranting is daily.
Yeah.
This person did that, you're not firing them, and it's like, okay, but you listen. He might throw in a word or two, maybe, but at times, of course, we might be at different tangents. He seems to be kinder than, okay, he's a very kind person.
Yeah.
And for me, business has hardened me. You know, when you have to deal with human beings, today someone is good and the next day they're doing the worst thing to you.
Yeah.
So I reserve my kindness sometimes. And then it's like, no, you're being too hard. So at times, it's all not rosy. But again, it's good that is available and very supportive. So yes, that is extremely important. But also, if I could speak to the ladies in business or even doing work that requires you to go over and above the 8 to 5, you know, we need to be intentional to give an environment that's going to encourage our partners to be supportive.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we need to be intentional. Whether you're in business or working wherever, there are certain things that can never change. Unfortunately, I can't quote the Bible, but I know many of these things are in the Bible. What is my role as a woman in a relationship? There's one word that many ladies have a problem with: respect and submission.
Good.
Respect and submission. And in fact, personally, I pay a lot of attention to men. When you get them in a conversation, for example, you happen to sit at a table at a party, sometimes it's even better when some of them are drinking and they are kind of
open.
free, they are open. I like to listen attentively, but I pick the submission very often. For men who claim to be having troublesome wives, and it rotates so much around that. So if it's not going to subtract anything from you,
do it.
In fact, me, I choose to look at it more. I prefer to refer to it as respect. Yes, submission comes off in a certain tone.
People don't like it.
They don't like it. But okay, let's say, let's use the word respect. For example, at the beginning of the day, or if I get a chance at night as I go to bed, I'll inform my husband. Tomorrow I have a shooting. I actually told him, I have a shooting with a lady, and this time it's different. We're going to talk about marriages, family, and business. So that is aware. And then when he happens to watch this YouTube video, I've told him, it's respect. Because just in case, I am being as honest as possible. But even if in my honesty I share something that he might not like, but it's the truth, I've told him, I gave him a heads up that yes, I will be discussing how marriages are, you know, a personal experience of how, you know, things are working out. But even for him to know where you are.
Good.
And because I practice that, he never asks. But usually you find that that oliwa, I have to use the, let me turn it to Uganda. That oliwa question tends to annoy people. Either way, it mainly annoys the men. But when you volunteer the information, where before, today I intend to be in Entebbe, and before I get home. And if you're running late, for example, be proactive. I'm delayed, I'm in jam. I'm at the northern bypass. There's a time I spent 3 hours on the bypass. So when you haven't told your person and then you show up at home at an hour that is not used to you showing up, then, and there are other tiny little things. We have trackers in our vehicles. So why would I even be telling a lie, But again, if you're someone who's used to telling lies, you will tell her and even forget that you have a tracker in your vehicle. So your husband can know where you are at any point. So generally speaking, I hope I'm answering your questions. Let's be proactive.
You're setting the environment.
It is very respectful. Just like I want to know where he is when he goes beyond a certain hour that I'm used to having him at home. Once I'm aware, I'm at sale, one of the members is unwell, she's in hospital. And you get paid in the same currency. Because I'm giving this example, again, my husband is very kind. There's a lady who was in hospital. I think she was a cell member. I go to a Toto church. And she needed a rare type of blood.
Wow.
But he really got so involved in trying to get this blood. Whoever said they had it, he would go pick them, take them to the blood bank, But because I was aware, really, something that would maybe have raised questions. Yes. Yeah. So it's really worked out well for us. Yeah.
I really love that. And when you bring that out as a woman who has done this for some years, people get to understand that it's not that you want your own independence. No. You're just working as a team together. You're trying, you're looking at yourselves as a team moving in one direction.
Yes.
So when you open up, it's a free environment. Yes. Someone also will give you more grace and say, you know what? I know you have to bake that cake at midnight.
Yes.
But because he knows you, he has seen your journey, he knows you're open with him, I think then it becomes really a good thing.
Yes. And also, you need to make it easy for you to enjoy your success without offending your husband. Yeah, hard points here. So what we've been discussing, being proactive, being honest, being open, and remembering that you're a wife. At the end of all these accolades,
you're a wife.
You're a wife. So, because, you shouldn't let yourself get drunk on these achievements. It's a common mistake by most ladies. Don't allow yourself to get drunk because they come and go. They might stay if you handle them well. But I'm telling you, with an unhappy home, an unhappy husband, you cannot achieve any of that. So better be respectful, you get the same back. Be honest, you get the same back. Be loving, be kind, be giving. Give more than you're expecting. That's another problem that ladies have. What is mine is mine. What the man brings is for all of us.
Yes.
See? It doesn't, I don't believe in that anyway. So we have to be very, very careful. Yeah.
You have to be one in this thing.
And wise.
I know, that's really nice. Okay, so now let's get into the business side of things. You've been in business now 15 years.
20.
20. Yes. Oh, wow. Business is tough.
Yes.
How did you get there? 15 years managing people? What?
Yes.
I don't know. Are there loans, capital? Where do you get it?
Yes.
How are you sustaining and making the business thrive? Because there are so many people struggling in business.
Yeah. Quite frankly, it's God's grace. That comes number one.
Yeah.
Because when you look around, you don't really see what is so special about you that is not about other people. Yes, so the grace of God, His mercies are new every morning, but you have to remember to ask Him to help you. So I once talked to someone who said, but God is aware of whatever is happening.
So I don't
you
tell
have
you.
to ask. You have to ask. But that said, yes, it's been a long, interesting journey. Tough sometimes, but I would say it's tougher at the beginning. And it is so true that a business will go through all these stages of you're on a treadmill, you're struggling.
Running, yeah.
And then you lift it off the ground, then it will grow. Sometimes it feels like it's plateauing, you know. And then you get to a point where you want to withdraw from it a bit because it's good for something to keep on running itself. So for me, yes, it's been an interesting journey. At the start, I was the only employee. Yes. I would bake, market, pick phone calls, decorate, deliver.
Yeah.
And I didn't die.
You survived.
I survived it. Yes, I survived the waters. And then you bring in employee number 2, number 3, number 4. And slowly, it doesn't really get easier because now, again, you have to learn how to manage people. You don't have a background in human resource management. Oh, yes, there's a lot of learning. And you also have to be intentional. You're learning on the job, but you also have to learn.
Yeah.
Look for professionals to teach you. Yeah. Just today, I was going through my management accounts for the first time. And it is really awesome. You know, when you get to employ the services of a professional who gets to tell you all these nitty-gritty things about your business, it's really awesome. So you need to be intentional enough to learn from others who are better than you. Yeah, and humility. The journey requires humility. Yeah. For example, if you're going to save money, for you to be able to move to the next level, you're going to have to do certain things yourself. Because at least your body is not charging you a salary.
I know, right?
You get?
Yeah.
So you need to be humble enough to
do the work.
I've told some of my employees before. I feel proud that I can tell them that here, at times they really drive you crazy. And you're like, I'm the only one who is irreplaceable here. The rest of you, I can drive, I can mop, I can
bake, I can decorate.
Yes. So people have got to know that. But for you to be able to say that, you should have experienced it, done the work, and learned, from point zero to where you are. So Beck for me has been really an interesting journey. Of you move from cake number 1, cake number 2, then you learn how to decorate, and of course you're not doing a good job. That's also part of the journey, being lousy at your work. But you keep on, you don't give up. Then your quantities increase, then you realize you should be importing, then that's a totally new field altogether. You start on that, then there's a traveling. Then it opens your mind to the opportunities out there. In all this, you're trying to cut out the middlemen so that you're having things cheaper. And when you do that, you're saving more capital for you to expand. So it's really a mixture of so many things. And along the way, God provides helpers. One, we've already talked about our spouses. If you handle them well, I think they can be very good helpers. And you vice versa, you helping them as well. So God provides helpers within your family. That support system is very important. And I'm not only talking about the nuclear family.
Yeah, extended as well.
Extended as well, yes. And then now the business family, like the connections. BNI, for example. BNI has had such positive impact on Bake for me.
There's some people who don't know BNI.
Unbelievable. BNI is Business Network International.
Yeah.
We're a group of business owners who come together to support each other, learn, but most importantly, do business.
Together,
Yeah, we do make money. But for me, BNI, I would even say the money aspect is not important. The relationship, the connections, the relationships that I've created with people who've helped me put systems in place. You know, when you can look at someone's business, a business that is organized, the systems are working, you know, and you're ready to learn. It's really a beautiful space to belong to. So BNI was, I've been in BNI for 4 years. I'm making my 5th year.
Wow.
Yeah, this year in September I'll be 5 years in BNI. But I must say it's been a game changer for my business. You know, learning to be more professional, learning to pitch. I used to be very shy. I wouldn't look at the camera and be the same. No, but today it's really a walkover because we do this all the time and we are learning from the best. So when you look at all these things in this journey,
they have helped
it's
you.
awesome. Yes.
One of the things that businesses struggle with is maybe as they are starting, but even along the journey is kind of separating. Do I pay myself? I've made for that 10K that you made. Do I eat it? Do I eat Kosam? Or how do I pay myself? You know, what would you say about that structure?
Separating yourself from the business. Oh, yes. Even that I learned in BNI. But when I joined BNI, I wasn't even paying myself a salary.
Yeah.
I would just pick as I pleased.
Wow.
That was really reckless. Because sometimes you might pick a lot more than you should. But it's a very, very good thing. One, to get to a place where you're paying yourself a salary. Try not to make it too high. I mean,
you may cripple the business.
Yes, you need to. Yeah, and it's okay for a business owner not to be paid very well for a while, but it always gets better.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's important. In fact, I had an ATM card that I was hardly using. But since I started doing that, you know, because at least, you know, you have your account, you're saving for the business, you're saving for yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So you really must, as a business owner, you must separate the two. You must separate the two. You need to respect the money in your business.
How? Yeah.
You really need to respect the money in your business. And it's one of the reasons that many businesses collapse. Yes. Because someone has the right, I move around with my checkbooks, I can sign money, sign for money anytime. In fact, usually when most of us are giving signing rights, like you're telling the bank what, it has to be either me or the other. Rarely do we say both of us because you still want to have that freedom. It's human nature. Yeah. So I want to applaud people who can be that disciplined to require a second signature, you know, for you to pick money that's supposed to be yours. Yeah. So you need to. It's very, very important.
Pay yourselves, guys.
Yes.
Please, you know, have those structures. And honestly, that's what BNI also does for many businesses. Because you can't do business with certain people if things are not organized. You know, they'll be asking for certain things. Okay, let me see, are you paying your taxes and all that stuff? So it can be quite something. Okay, so how do you incorporate faith in your business? Because we are business people, but like some people, we first put God aside, then we do business.
You do the wrong things.
Then when we need him, we first bring him again. You know, what's that journey for you like?
Well, I was born a Christian. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's been a difficult journey, like say if you're born into a different religion or, you know, a different kind of faith. But knowing God Jesus at a personal level gives you that very special comfort that every business person needs. Because we already talked about, there are so many challenges.
It's tough.
It's tough. And sometimes you just need to know that there's like God has your back.
Yeah.
And especially when you experience miracles, they're real miracles. I don't want to go into those because but I have experienced quite a number. You take your bead and you find a pile of like,
Others.
say on your signings, like 174 people have brought their
You're the
applications.
175th.
Yes, and others are still coming.
Yeah.
And out of all those people, you're successful. Really, there has to be a hand of God in some of these, So, working with God is I can only say is the best thing that can happen to any business, really. At least for all the good things that are happening, have someone to relate it to. I don't want to say something. God is not a thing. Yeah. So again, I feel very bad when I can't quote scripture, because
okay.
I'm speaking from the heart. All things work together for good for those that love the Lord. That must be in Romans. Is it 6:28? When you read those verses and you think critically about your business. For me, it's from where I started. Your mom is teaching you how to bake, and you're just baking cake to eat at home with your tea or something. But God knew, He mapped that way that everything will work together for the good eventually, and it does. Yeah. So,
are there some practical things you do in the business to, that relate to the faith? Let's say there are some people who say, no, we have devotion that, the staff, I don't know, like, are there some, I pray about my business. Are there some practical things that, some people may speak from, like, are there some things?
My business is a prayer point right from my bedroom on my prayer altar with my husband. It is every time we have to pray. It might not be every day because at times our schedules, it might leave very early or vice versa. But when we do, it's a must. So that happens on a weekly basis. Then we have meetings twice a week at the bakery. We start with a word of prayer. So, and it doesn't even have to, you don't have to wait for a specific time. Personally, when I drive myself, I move in silence. And it's an opportunity for me to keep praying, thinking, telling God, X, Y, Z. Can you sort this out? And He will surprise you. I was talking about miracles. Do you know that I've had thieves in my business? That's also kind of normal. It happens. I've had thieves. I had to get rid of 8 people. That's a lot at a go. But all I did was to tell God randomly, if I have any characters, people who are not right in my business, please sieve them out. And I had no reason for saying so. Things seemed okay, but I'm like, why not? I can tell God anything. And alas, a whistleblower who had nothing to do with this business, apart from knowing one of them. And he would watch them sharing the loot. And this person sends me a message and is like, I think I'd started being very present on TikTok. So I think he watched some of my videos. And in his words, I'll quote, I watch you and I can tell that you're a good person. But XYZ is stealing from you in this way and that one. You should look into it. As simple as that. And when I looked, indeed, it was true. But remember, I started by telling God, just in case there's anything that is not right that's going on, help me.
That's so powerful. And there's a time also in my business, I was having a hard time and I was just complaining about it. Then I realized, but I've not yet told God about it. Instead of complaining, why can't I tell God? So it's a constant just reminder that He is the one in charge, He's the one in control. And I think He can really help us in our businesses.
True.
Oh, that's so amazing. So if there are any people out there They may be wondering, are there some sacrifices you had to make? Apart from the time you mentioned, to build that thriving business, are there some sacrifices or mistakes you made that we can learn from?
Lots of sacrifices. I'll go with the sacrifices first. Lots of sacrifices. I once sold a plot of land to buy an oven. Yes.
Yeah.
I had an oven, but I needed a bigger one. And at that point, I felt I didn't want to borrow. I'd borrowed maybe before, and I'm like, no, let me sell this plot of land. So yes, sacrifices. The time, the energy. I've thought about something that maybe I can share. Before I met my husband, I mean, like any normal person, you not everyone that you date is the one.
Yes.
But I was dating this person that I thought might be the one. But I lost that relationship because of my business. I did. Because I needed time. You have orders, you need to work on them. And unfortunately, the other party, but again, because they're not the right one anyway, interprets it as you're not giving them time.
You're not prioritizing
so
them.
In a way, you're sacrificing. You get someone else would have chosen to let me put the business aside because I want this to work. But I knew very well that I need to put in the time. If I've been begging for customers, clients, I've got them. Now instead of baking the cakes,
again
the boyfriend wants to take you to the beach. I think if I had to ask my children to give me an honest opinion of me and the way I show up at home and it might be different from the story I've given you. That's a fact. Because even now, the older one is in boarding school, but the other two, 9 and 7, whenever I go home, like for lunch, my home is not far from the bakery. So at times I choose to go home to have lunch. So I get in and they're very happy to see me. Say on a Saturday and they're at home, they're not at school. So after having lunch and I'm like, okay, bye. And they're like, you're leaving.
Again?
Yes, so that tone will show you that they would have preferred you to be present. Again, I'm someone who doesn't have the liberty yet. I do. Maybe I would choose to say I won't work this Saturday, but it can't happen. It's not yet happening every Saturday. Where, the few times that I've done it, you meet parents with their children, going out to swim, ice cream. So for some of us, that doesn't happen. It happens on Sunday when we have a day off, So I know that in a way it affects the kids. So whenever you have a chance to make up for that lost time, you really must. Yes.
I feel you on that one.
Yes.
Mom guilt can be there. But for kids, I've learned that time is never enough.
Yes.
Even if you're with them the whole day yesterday, even today they want, even tomorrow, so it can be a hard thing for moms to juggle and feel like, the kids are crying when I'm going, why stay cool? Why? But it's like an never-ending thing.
Yes,
so we just have to be intentional to say, okay, let me chip in here. Let me surprise them today and just, not to go anywhere. Sometimes Roy will be like, you're not going? You're not going.
And they can't believe.
And yet yesterday you were at home. But still, so
they want you
it's something
around.
that moms, we just have to keep dealing with and keep asking God for wisdom to show us
exactly
how much more time do I put in? What can I do, and things like that. Wow, that's really amazing.
True.
Yeah, you've been really honest about it. Many business, we struggle with that. Where is Bake For Me now? Do you have a location where people can go and actually get outlets or something like that? Yeah.
Bake For Me is in 6 locations now. The bakery, of course, is the head office in Bonga. Then we have outlets at Bonga Trading Center, at Kololo, above Hotel Africana, at Nalia, opposite the Quality Mall, at Kajansi, Olweza, next to the Lweza Mosque, and then Nakulabye to serve that road. Nakulabe, that's on Chiseka Lane. The reason we have these outlets at different points is to try and serve all those major roads that are coming into the city. Because different problems should be informing the way you solve them. So when you realize that, it's not very kind for someone to have to cross the city to get to where their cake is. So you make it easier for the client by opening these different outlets for them to access their cakes without having to come into the city jam and traffic.
Now we need you this side of Chanja. We need you, please.
But again, of course, you have to make informed business decisions. Okay, you can't open everywhere that people demand. Yeah, it's not as simple as that. Otherwise, but financial literacy is very important. Even learning management as a business owner, who doesn't have that background. It's very important. Otherwise, when people keep calling, you come this side, Mukono, we are waiting. If you jump at every, you might not be as lucky as you think you are.
Yeah. Amazing. Wow. So finally, our final question, a woman out there who wants to start a business, who is doing this, what's one or two things can you give her, or tips that you can share about business and managing it, or family, anything in that regard? Talk to a lady out there.
Someone out there wants to start a business should endeavor to listen to those who are already in that particular business.
Okay,
That particular business. If you're going to start a makeup business, you might want to visit beauty parlors to understand. If people are kind enough to share that information, especially the risks and rewards. Many times people give up because they've experienced one or two risks, Yeah, but business is risk. I mean, every day. Right now, I probably have 8 cars on the road. Anytime a phone call will come, it can really be bad, or I've been in an accident, how bad is the accident, So we operate in a risky environment. And it gets more interesting in Uganda. You know that, I mean. So when you have border riders and everything, so generally speaking, you need to try and understand the risks and rewards. Listen to people who've been there and done it. But don't fail to start, okay?
The fear.
Yes. Listening to them is kind of to prepare you. Because remember, you're starting from a point of the unknown. But when someone tells you, you know what, this can happen. I mean, all of us never knew that COVID can happen and just turn everything inside out, okay? So listen and learn. Listen and learn. I don't preach a lot of caution. Or what do I mean? Like, I've already said, don't let these things prevent you from trying. Someone could have failed because of one thing, but in God's plan, you're going to succeed, irrespective of that risk. So that's the one thing, learn, yeah? Secondly, if you're going to start a business, you need to understand your market. You might do everything right. Yesterday I visited, like I said, we've learned so much from BNI. I visited a member's business because we do one-to-ones. We visit each other's businesses. And her story was a little bit painful. She has paid rent for close to 9 months and she hasn't broken even.
Tough.
Yes. So you need to understand. And her location to me seems perfect. She's in a residential area that has so many houses. It's on the outskirts of the city, meaning this is a wellness center. So you tend to imagine people want to live healthy, to exercise, but they're not showing up. And then you need to go back on the drawing board and understand, okay, what kind of people are in this particular setting? Because I was forced to ask her, how did you choose this location? Because it was also bothering me. Why would someone fail to get clients? And actually, she chose the location because it's near her home. But sometimes that might not be the best location. It's making life easy for you because you don't have to travel a long distance and everything. But you might need to study your market better. Yeah. So of course there are a lot more things. Have a vision, goals. Look at how much capital you have. Because you can't be starting a business that needs so much. There are some businesses that can't get off the ground if you don't have
money a lot.
Yes. For example, if you're going to start a salon, you'll have to have equipment. Okay, you might start by simply plating, maybe that. But there are things that are must-have.
Have the washer thing, who have to wash the hair.
Yeah, so do your research. It's important. But don't fail to start. Okay? We started at 25,000 and here we are today. We are worth a lot more than that. Yeah. So it's possible, even with little. Okay, but understand how best to use the little that you have. Yeah.
But Brenda, also I think something that people need to remember, we put ourselves on pressure. Now, I listen to Brenda. Then, imagine in my year one, I want to be like Brenda. And we're forgetting, you've put in work for 20 years. So sometimes we need to give our businesses some time to go through the processes, the way you maybe went through them, and not want to jump and miss the whole, and try to reach where Brenda is. I think that's a big thing.
That's true. But it's also good to dream. It's good to admire, to have, role models. It's a good thing. And if you can get a mentor. If you can get a mentor, someone who can handhold you, that's perfect. And better still when they're in the same business. However, they don't have to be. I have a gentleman, again, from BNI. I'm sorry, I've really sung praises of BNI because we give credit where it's due. There's this gentleman, he runs a microfinance that has grown exponentially. We're here talking back from this is nothing compared to his business. But for some reason, I think it's God-led to also hold my hand. And I'm really glad that he can do that. Okay? So someone might not exactly be in your field. Again, let's trust the process. And let's trust God. There's a reason why our paths have crossed, for example. I'm not someone who you've sat with before. I've admired you before. You've probably also watched me. But there's a reason why I've sat in this place here today. And one, I'll say, our conversation today has reminded me to be thankful for where I am and that I can, in fact, today I filled out my gains sheet in BNI where we talk about what we've been able to achieve. And one of the statements I made in there that it's an achievement to run a thriving or a successful business and at the same time a happy family. So this conversation has really reminded me that if you're there and you happen to be in the same space, we shouldn't take it for granted. Be grateful and keep doing what is working. So, and it's such a sad thing when I look at a couple that has withstood 20 years of ups and downs only to give up in the 21st year. It is sad. So that's why I'm saying whatever works best, continue doing. If something is not working right, get rid of it. And as mature human beings, we know what doesn't. You can tell that your partner is not ready with X. Stop doing X. If it's not going to make you shed your weight, most people wish for that maybe, but if it's not going to really affect your life, just get rid of it. Your partner isn't comfortable with this and that, just stop doing it. As simple as that. If it's being unrealistic, sit him down. But if it doesn't work, forget about it, you know. So let's be grateful and keep doing what is working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. Brenda, thank you so much, guys.
Yes.
Guys, I hope you've been writing. Your notebooks should be full, because after today, we're going to get better in our businesses, in our families. There were so many gems. Let us know in the comment section, how is business for you? What are those challenges you're facing? Let's get talking. My name is Lisa Kusima, and as always, I'm here to inspire. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video so that it can impact other people just like it has for you. See you in the next one.